Hi, it's Sharon, SharonTheReader.com, and this past few days I have had Amy Winehouse kind of trying to break through. So, I have to say, it's not that I wasn't an Amy Winehouse fan, she just wasn't my era. So I know very little about the girl. So I'm just going to hand you over to Amy. Hi, I'm Amy Winehouse. This is hard. This is really hard. Because there's no one to ask me questions. Right, if someone was here to ask me questions, it'd be easier. But I kind of heard Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison and John Lennon and people like that talking, and I did want to talk, but they seemed to know what they were talking about. Okay, here's one thing I want to say. I really want you to hear this, and I want you to hear it, and hear it, and hear it, and hear it, and hear it, right? And never forget that I said it. Blake was never to blame for my death. I loved him, I love him, and I'll always love him. And I don't care who doesn't approve of this, and I really don't care, because it's me, and it's mine, and it's what I believe, and it's what I'm saying, and you can't take it away from me. It's mine. I had the same childhood, I think, as most people did. Same arguments in the house, the same laughter in the house. You know, it was just it was a normal house. And then there was a breakup in the house. And so I was living most of the time with my mum and some of the time with my dad. So I had regular visitation. And for no reason then that I could understand, I started cutting myself, right? And I didn't know why. And there's a lot of things I did when I was in your world that I really didn't understand why I was doing them. I didn't want to do them, but I kept doing them. And the cutting, if I had been the sort of person who read a lot, I would have become aware that I was trying to release something. I was trying to release a pain that was in me. You don't cut yourself because you're happy. And I didn't take the education the way a lot of people do. And even educated people, really well educated people, cut themselves. But I wasn't bright in that way. I could write songs because songs came from feelings. And I was in tune with my feelings. I knew that. So that came very easy to me. And I loved singing anyway. And I loved music. You know, I would die for music. So there was no difficulty with me in that sense. People say, wasn't she clever? Wasn't she a genius? Blah, blah, blah. All the shit that people talk. Right, I wasn't like that. It came easy. It came natural. And at the end of the day, it just was. And when something's easy, it's easy. It doesn't take effort. So that would have been the start, would have been the cutting. And I did that for a while, and then I got into weed and, stuff like that there. Alcohol, long before I was the alcoholic age, whatever that age is. But that's the way I was. And I remember thinking and saying I didn't care what people thought. What they thought about me. I didn't care what they thought. And I didn't. I didn't give two fucks what they thought. I was going to live my life my way. And then the other side of me was I didn't want to hurt anybody, and I wanted to please people. I wanted people to be happy. And if I could make people happy, then I was good. And growing up, I wanted to be good. And I know this is not like any of the other interviews, because I can feel Sharon kind of feeling not sure whether this was a good idea or not. And it's the fact that she's letting me say it, and I'm going to say it. So I didn't want to be a star. I just wanted to sing. And I enjoyed it, and I loved it. And suddenly things were starting to fall into place, and the girl I was, and this is really looking back, some of it you may find is me there, really remembering, right? And some is me on this side looking back, okay? So, just bear with me. I'm going to get there. I will get there. So, yeah, things started to fall into place, and it was good. It was great. And, I loved it, and everybody was happy, and it was kind of like you were going up, and it was unbelievably, unexpected. No one was expecting this. And then after the first album, things were really, it was kind of like your next album. This was such a hit. And it was just all me. It was what was going on inside me that made the album. It wasn't kind of where I looked out at the world and saw it from the point of view of looking out, right? It was just me looking in. And maybe that's why it worked. So then things moved along, and they were good. And then I met Blake. And I will say one thing, things were not really great when I met him. My nan had died, and I think she took a part of me with her, because she was always such a strong person. You didn't mess around with my nan. She would have told you to fuck off. That's just the way she was. But she did understand me. She really did understand me. And no one else seemed to understand me the way my nan did. And suddenly she was just gone. And right when things were good for me, this happened. And that kind of left me, it's like someone had kicked me in the stomach or something. And then we were out, and I met Blake, and I'd seen him before, and he appealed to me, to say the very, 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 very least. And I appealed to him that night, and he left me home. And he got to know me in a way that probably few other people ever really did get to know me. And I could really, he would ask me questions, and then I would answer the questions, and I would hear me coming out. I would hear me being me. and he understood the answers, and he also was pretty fucked up. We were two fucked up people together. Now, what happens when you get two fucked up people together? It's just going to be a disaster. And yeah, I guess looking at it, right, everybody probably saw it as a disaster, right? It was and it wasn't. When you love someone, you just love them. And there's nothing else to say about it. You can't examine love. You can't put it on a measuring scale. You can't do those things. You just are or you're not. And we were. And it was not all bad. It was not all bad, no matter what other people think. I will say, and this is coming from where I am now, I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot of the people who were surrounding me were not there for the right reason. They weren't there to support me, to help me. It was cash. It was big bucks. I was big bucks. So you don't let that pass. You hold on to that. And they did. They did. And I couldn't see it. At that stage, I couldn't see anything. I could see my makeup, I could see my hair, I could see my clothes, I could see my house. The rest of me was owned. It was just owned by people who wanted me to do what they wanted me to do. And I wanted to please them, so I did. And those people were not out for my best interest. And I see that now. And if I had the choice to turn back the clock and have one day when we were good, when Blake and I were good together, right, I would give it all back in a heartbeat without a second thought, right? There's no changing that, right? That was the best. The divorce was kind of, well, get on with it, get the divorce, get on with your career. And when you're in that, it is get on with your career. It's, record, do concerts, fill stadiums, fill clubs, go, planes, driving, whatever, and then there was every day was just go back to black. Every day was black. Okay, so what was the difference in the day before I died and the day that I died? And yeah, it was black. It was going to be black. Of course it was black. There was nothing else. If you have money and you have, position and a crowd of people around you who will do whatever you want them to do, right, and supply you with what you need, which is alcohol and drugs, to get you through to the next day, to get you through to the day which comes after that, which is another concert or, something else, right, and they're still giving you what you need to get through. All you're doing is getting through. You're just getting through. You're not doing anything else. There's nothing to look forward to. You don't see life in those forms. There's nothing. It's just one day follows another. And, I wish maybe I had been an ordinary girl with a good voice and at the end of the day could have sang maybe in the local club and got married and had kids and been happy. And then other times I think, well, maybe if I had forced myself into education and looking at the world and seeing what it was made of, I would have something to offer, right? I didn't have any of those things. I didn't have... The more I became me, the less I was me. And it's not like I looked and I listened to Janis Joplin, and she talked about a lot of stuff, right? And it's not the same thing. She was aware of things. She was very well aware of things. I had no awareness. Where was I going to find awareness? I don't know why. Maybe the Americans have it and we don't have it. I'm not sure. But I was just Amy. I was just the girl next door. And all the pleasing and all the trying to be, and the hair and the eyeliner and oh God, the everything. And I look and I think, what happened? And what happened was, and it's so simple, is I lost me. I lost me at a very young age. From the age of cutting, which was, I would say, starting at 8, would have been a problem at 10, a real problem, right? I probably should have had medical attention of types, psychiatric attention. It didn't happen, you know. People didn't think that way. I didn't know anybody who thought that way. So, yeah, I might have been able to be a good wife, have kids. That's what I wanted. I wanted to have children. It was kind of heartbreaking that Blake did have kids, and I never had any. So yeah, that would have been really good. But I'm finding here that there's one thing that you get in this place, right? And it's peace. And it's something that I've never had in my entire life on your planet. I've never had peace. I've always been, people would say I was arrogant. Other people would say I wasn't. I was soft. I was everything to everybody. But I was never anything to me. And I tried so hard to be to me. And I didn't even know where the thread started. So how could I unravel a ball of wool when I didn't know where the beginning of it even began? You know, the mess was just, it was just a clunk. I needed someone to take it all apart. And if that had been the case, and I had have let people take it apart because I was not helpful, I didn't think I needed it until I really needed it, and it was too late. And here we have this thing called peace. And it's like nothing you'll ever know in your life. It's just the epitome of just, oh my God, everything. You just look at everything and you think, oh, what did I do? Jesus fucking Christ, what did I do? What did I allow to be done? You know? And you've all this peace. And I know it's come up to Christmas, and I know this is a really bad video, and I was so persistent, because I am persistent. I've always been persistent, right? And I made Sharon let me do this video. I made her do it, right? And I don't think she thought it was the right time, and I thought it was the right time. And okay, so let me put it like this here. I've spewed it all up, everything, right? And that's something else that was never, ever, ever talked about, right? The bulimia. You tell me what person who is a happy human being is bulimic. There's a problem there. I went from anorexia to bulimia, to drugs, to drink. How destructive can one human being be? And everyone said I was okay and I could do the next show. And they could sign me up for 6 more. Well, on this side, you do get to have peace. You do get to unravel your life. It's required of you, and it's not for punishment. It's a totally different thing. It's for you to see why you made the choices you did. and there is no blame attached. So don't be frightened of that one. And I was not a very religious person. I believed in something, and you can believe in anything you want to, as long as it's on the bright side. And I never varied from the bright side. I might not have known what it was, but I wasn't going anywhere near anything dark. I think I was dark enough. So that's what you get here. You get peace, right? Your privacy's all your own. Everything about your life's your own. Everything about your spirit's your own. And you learn a lot about yourself. And I know I pushed this poor woman in to make me do this today, but I really wanted to, and I know I wasn't giving her any peace, and I really pushed. And I know she didn't want to do it, but she did. But I would like to do a second one when all this has been just out. I just needed to get this stuff right out there to people. I just needed to get it out. You know, girls, don't think that drugs, don't think that, you know, all that alcohol is going to change anything. It'll change things, but it won't change them for the better, and you will not get the grasp with the problem. And don't look at me, idolize me, right? Do not do that. Love my voice. Please love my voice. I love my voice. I have such pride in my voice. I really do. But don't look at the beehive and don't look at the eyeliner. Please don't go there, right? Look inside yourself. The place that Blake knows what I'm talking about. And he did question those things. And that's why he knew me so well. And please, 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 right? Please, 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 never blame him. He was never to blame. He really did love me. And I really loved and love him. And always will. Always will. And it's coming up to Christmas. And just have a good time. Have a good time. And know that yous were all wonderful and yous are all wonderful. And if someone had told me and really meant it, I was wonderful, I would have had that thread to hold on to. Not to people please people, not to make everybody happy. Just to be me, and for that to be enough. Just for it to be enough. Know that every one of yous is enough. And I love yous all, and I wish yous a happy Christmas and everything, and be careful of your world. Be careful of your life. Be careful of yourselves.